So welcome again in my conversations with people from around the Barnsley circuit who are engaging in acts of volunteering and service, both within the community and within the life of the church. It's good to welcome today June Grimes from our Emmanuel congregation. I've worked with June on a number of sort of bodies, and June, just tell us a little bit, first of all, about some of your work with, I know, two charitable trusts that you're involved with. Maybe you could explain a little bit.
Right. I do the administration for a small, very small will trust charity, which distributes a small amount of money each year within Barnsley. So I'm not a trustee, but I do all the bank running around, dealing with charity commission, sorting out the bank statements and the sending out of money and that sort of thing. The fiddly stuff.
Is
Because
that
it's
because you
not
have,
into what I used to do at work.
yeah, I was just going to say, has that come as a result of your work?
I know what needs doing as a result of work, I think would be. The other charity I am involved in is called the Ted Tasker Photographic Trust, or Photographic Collection Trust, and it's in the name. Ted Tasker collected a huge archive of photographs of Barnsley and its history. And the idea is to make people aware of these and encourage people to have an understanding of their past. And people are very fond of those. You know, there's a great nostalgia for those pictures. We had an exhibition at the Cooper Gallery this spring, and it was well attended. So again, as I'm the chair, I try and organise things.
And is that usually an exhibition quite regularly?
We haven't had one. No, it's very hard to find venues for exhibitions. We're always up for them. A big exhibition happens probably once every few years. We're trying to see if we can get some others up. And there are some pubs. They've been in one of the pubs at Hoyland Swain. There were pictures in the core at one point when it was still volunteer, but we're always up for suggestions or for people who are interested.
So the two charities that you engage with, one is about supporting poor people across
Yes.
the town, and the other is more a social history stroke arts sort of celebration.
They're both for public benefit. That's the idea, because one is engaging knowledge, increasing people's understanding of things for all ages, really.
Great. And I know from my work with you that you've also been a trustee of Emmanuel, and you've been involved in various sort of working groups.
I was involved with Emmanuel from the very beginning when the three churches came together, and there was a joint building project committee which dealt with all sorts of administrative things like what pews you get and what curtains and carpets, and as well as the rather more radical decisions whether to have pews. So yes, I've been involved in the life of Emmanuel for a long time and done various things. I used to, when there was more gift aid, I was involved with that in the past. So I'm not the sort of person who becomes a treasurer.
No, and that's great. So that your skill set is obviously in administration, legal knowledge, and also overseeing work that needs to be done and gets done. So that's very practical and pragmatic. I know your other area of volunteering, which probably takes you more outside than inside, is all about the National Trust.
Two areas. David and I are both involved with the archives group at Wentworth Castle. So that is actually not dissimilar, because we are looking at documents, we're analysing, we're trying to make discoveries and look and find what there is and catalogue and keep it in order. But I also garden, which is a completely different activity, and it feeds me in a different way. It's the sort of counterbalance to all the head stuff. It's outside, it's practical, it's hard physical work sometimes. So it's good fun.
And what's the project that you have on as gardeners? Is there a team of you, or do you do it individually?
It's a very small team. We're involved with what are called the national collections. There are 3 national collections, rhododendrons, camellias, and magnolias at Wentworth Castle that were picked up in the 19th century and are still there. So the gardeners are always short, they never have enough time or enough of them. They're heavily dependent on volunteers as well. It has been the old trust and the new trust. So we help out under supervision sometimes, things like helping to keep the plants under control. We did a lot of hacking back after lockdown when things have got a bit wild. We've taken cuttings. Today, this morning, we were planting primulas because they like the same sort of conditions in the shade and that sort of thing. But we're a very small team at the moment. There's 2 of us, plus the gardener.
Right. But the work is varied. And is that a commitment every week?
I go every week. Sometimes it's that sort of thing. Sometimes it's much more mundane, like weeding. But no, it's a week. As far as I'm concerned, it's a regular weekly commitment.
And the archives, how often would you do that? Would that be weekly? That would be weekly. Yeah, brilliant. I'm wondering why you do volunteer. You know, what is it that makes you feel that you want to do this?
It feels an important part of my faith or my commitment, that what I need to do is not simply worship God, but also look at how I can love my neighbor as myself, I think. And it's a sort of acting out of what could I, how would I like people to behave towards me? I'm aware that I owe a lot to a lot of people in the past. I'd like to offer something back if I can, using for things I can, the skill sets that I have. It feels important to me to not simply take. That's part of what we are asked to do as Christians.
So having been blessed, you want to sort of pass on the blessing to others?
Yes. Okay,
that's great. And do you get anything out of volunteering? How does it make you feel?
Sometimes, yes. I think most people definitely get something out of their volunteering. If you don't, you might think, am I doing the right thing? I love doing the gardening. It's therapy. It's my sort of therapy almost for me. If I'm stressed and you have to focus on that, it is really good. I like doing the archives is really interesting. It's intellectually stimulating. Other things you think, well, it's more routine, but there's always the satisfaction of a job well done, and you feel you've done something useful. So yes, I think you do. I do get things out of it.
Yeah, and if you feel that you've completed a piece of work to the best of your ability, and
that's a really good feeling.
That's a good feeling. Absolutely, I get that. Yeah, that's lovely. So we're grateful, June, for just allowing us a little bit into your life. Maybe those of us who are at Wentworth ever on a Wednesday will look out for you and encourage you in your gardening. But it's great to hear what you do and how you make a difference, because gardening at Wentworth has an enormous ripple effect, doesn't it?
Places like Wentworth, none of the national trust properties could function without volunteers. There's a huge number of people who give their time, their energy, just because it feels like the right thing to do.
And I think the wonderful thing about the National Trust is that there are many different areas where you can volunteer.
There's a huge range, and there's a lovely social aspect to it too.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet with people, to join up, to be friends with people.
Yeah. Right.
There are, lots of positives to it.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing with me today. It's great to hear what you're doing and making a difference. And we thank you on behalf of other people too who benefit from your hard work. It's great to be in conversation with you. Thank you for your time.